All right, guys, thank you for purchasing this super concise old man Soto Makikomi video. Right, this is like one of the most controversial throws. A lot of old guys do it because it doesn't require a lot of like in and out, explosive, like you go for something, you have to bail out and go into combinations. It's like one and done. You throw your whole body into it, you get it or not, you drop to the floor, that's it, right? But it also comes with a lot of dangers. I'm gonna teach you kind of properly today. There's many different ways to enter Soto Makikomi. Classically, you have this position, collar on the hand, and you go over, and you trap the arm, you stick the leg out, and then you turn. Right, this is it. That's Soto Makikomi, generally. You can be underneath as well. You go over, you trap the arm, throw the leg across, and you sit, and then take them over. This is like a classic Soto Makikomi situation. But we're gonna talk a little bit about the different entries, okay? Because if you bought this, you probably already do Soto Makikomi. And it kind of goes hand in hand with like Harai Makikomi, or Sotogari, or Soto Makikomi. The main entry point here is if I game this right hand, this left hand collar on first. A lot of the times you're gonna do this against right side versus right side. So I have to be able to do a little bit of grip fighting first. Okay, I wanna put the first hand on, looking for that sleeve, can't get it. If he goes over, that's okay. Usually it's not preferable because the most people go for a big ippon senagi here. If he pulls his arm down, right? Now there's no more ippon senagi. And a lot of younger IJF athletes don't go for Soto Makikomi right off the rip. So this is okay. So from this point, instead of going straight into the Soto Makikomi, we're looking for this, which is almost always not a good thing for my opponent because he doesn't want me to control his head. So we're looking for this, make it look like we're gonna go over the back to go connect, and he's gonna look to block it, but I'm gonna bring it all the way across. Notice the trajectory of my arm. It looks like I'm going forward, but then I bring it over the head here. And as it's going across, look, I pull my opponent to my armpit. Okay, see the shoulder goes to the armpit? So now look, I trap, pivot, and then I block the leg here. It's very important, if you can, to be able to swipe backwards with your calf and onto the shin so you could lock the opponent's knee out. So now it's a lot easier for me to rotate my opponent over this leg. Okay? And if you can get that first shot where you rotate him over the leg, great. If not, throw your hips down and go into it. That's the Makikomi portion of it. So that's one entry. This is from over the top. You could also do it from underneath. Same idea. We're going over the back, bang, bringing across, pulling my opponent in, trapping, and then I'm throwing my leg across. Let's say you have a bad left knee and you don't feel comfortable supporting yourself on this one knee. Happens a lot. So from this position, instead of throwing my leg across and pivoting off this knee here, I'm gonna turn and I'm gonna sag to this hip. And then I'm gonna run my legs. Quick little tip there for you. See that again. Go underneath. I'll make it look like I'm going here, over the back, but I'm bringing it across, pulling. I'm gonna sag to my hip. And look, I'm running myself. So I pull myself on top of his chest. Let's just say I go for this, and you don't quite get it. He kind of like goes belly down on top of my back. And you already probably do this inadvertently. And it's never explicitly taught, but it's a nice tip. When I go here and I go this way, and he goes belly down into me here, look, I go forward and I put this hook behind me on the inside, right? And then I lift and elevate from the backside. Insert this hook to this side as I turn. Boom. Kind of didn't get it.
I need belly out.
Let's have Eugene do it so he can demonstrate, because you need a proper uke to get the proper reaction. He goes, Soto Makikomi. Man, look, he goes down to the stomach here. Boom. Goes down to the stomach. Look. Here, you see this position here? Come back here. You see how I'm flattening him out? You see how he's inserting this hook? His arm is trapped. Okay? So now he turns and elevates his hook. You see this all the time when someone flattens you out. So this is a nice little tip to finish. Really sit into the sit, fishing for this hook, driving and lifting. Now let's talk about making it look like you're going for a Soto Makikomi. I don't feel like giving my back up. He's a big lifting Russian dude. So instead, I'm gonna go in this angle, make it look like I'm coming across this way. I'm gonna go across. Okay, be careful with his elbow clipping your buddy in the head. If you really don't like him, you could definitely clip him in the head. Look, I pull him to the side here, this way, and I go Soto here. See how I'm trapping the leg? And I'm driving and throwing my body weight this way. I'm bringing my hips forward and finishing. That's Soto Makikomi, done the proper way. Beauty of this Soto Makikomi is if he leans back into me here, okay, now I can try to switch it to a Soto Makikomi. If I'm going here, He's leaning back into me here, right? Look, I'm posted on this leg. Look, I jump and pivot off of this leg here and turn. Throw my hips across and finish Soto Makikomi this way. So that's with the Soto Makikomi. You could be in this dominant position as well and make it look like you're going Osoto. Bang. And then he tries to fight back up. And then I could slide this hand over and trap it and throw my body weight this way, or try to pivot and go Harai Makikomi this way as well. Anytime you have this dominant position, you make it look like you're going Harai Goshi. Bang. Okay, and you feel like, oh man, he might lift me or something like this. You can just say, forget this head, abandon it, and then throw your hips down into the floor and spiral. I like to set up my Soto Makikomi series from this collar grip, and I feed this hand to the collar. I actually don't do Soto Makikomi that much, but sometimes I will if I'm going with a lightweight that's really pissing me off. Open, and I go collar, bang! I'm pulling him down, and this is my shot to go Soto Makikomi. If you haven't noticed, this entry is very good for Georgian as well. If you do a good Georgian grip, you could almost always turn it into a Harai Makikomi here. So Georgian, I go Ochi. Drive. He's pushing back into me. Look what I did here. Look, he's pushing back into me. Look, I release this and then go Soto Makikomi. Okay, you go Uchimata Makikomi there as well. Right side versus left side, it's hard to do Soto Makikomi to my dominant. So you're gonna have to do everything to the reverse side, which is very, very difficult. I don't really recommend it. But if you can get to dominant position, and then he grabs the sleeve here, right? Maybe you could go for big turn throw here. Doesn't work. Slide into it and then catch in this arm. Sometimes we're fighting here, he goes for the lapel. And then if I could grab high on that sleeve, now there's a lot less distance. As opposed to if I have the sleeve, a lot of distance and space here. Okay, so pulling, too much slack. If he goes lapel, if I'm able to go over the elbow, now it's a lot tighter. Okay, so from here, look, I can pull this into me, go over. See, I'm going over. Okay, it looks like a koshiguruma. But I'm gonna slide it across here and catch it. Throw this leg across, and then go Soto Makikomi against the lefty. But generally, you see Soto Makikomi right side versus right side, or the arm that's sort of exposed. If he's left side, right versus left, I'm gonna go Soto Makikomi this way. I'm always trying to trap the arm. Well, that's Soto Makikomi for you. A couple of important points is like you don't want to injure your opponent. You gotta have to really be careful with this because what you're doing is trapping the shoulder. If you land on that shoulder, he's gonna get hurt. If I go over the back, and if I'm trapping it and he puts his arm out because he doesn't want to land, his elbow's gonna go. If I wrap this leg, bang, and then if I rotate into it and the knee caves in, he's gonna hurt his knee. So there's a lot of issues when it comes to this stuff. I'm not gonna say not do it, but with caution. And best practices, when you throw the Soto Makikomi and you throw him here, right? Bang, so I try not to land on him. If you could come around here for a second. As he's coming down, he's attached to my body. If I put my arm down, it might be too much pressure on this arm. Okay, if it's in the wrong angle, my shoulder's weak, my shoulder can go, elbow can go, especially if it's locked out in a weird way. But landing on him fully here on his ribs could potentially injure him too. So as he's, sit up just a little bit, as he's landing here, boom, right? Going over, not on his face, but over his arm and then going this direction is a nice little tip that you should be able to do. Okay, if you're gonna spam these kind of things, you have to have your opponent's safety in mind because if you throw people with Soto Makikomi, and if you injure them, no one's gonna want to work out with you. And if that's the case, then you're gonna have no partners to work out with. So, also, look, I'm throwing him, momentum's going down this way. Boom! If I'm pinning this shoulder, and if his body keeps going in the opposite direction, look, this shoulder's fixed, he's gonna hurt his shoulder, okay? Because the shoulder is fixed this way, and his body goes in this direction, and you see what happens to the shoulder this way? So you also have to be careful of this. When you throw the person, you land and you pin the shoulder down and the momentum's taken this way, you're gonna injure your opponent. So, he sits up a little bit. After I go Soto Makikomi, look, boom. Look, I put my weight on him and then I'm rolling over, not across his face, okay? And drill this so you don't injure your partner. If you guys are close in size, you could roll across his body. That's okay too. Rolling across here, boom. You see now my back is going across his chest and rib, that's okay. But my opponent has to be ready for this. As he's landing, he has to exhale and then contract his stomach. And he has to have good uke hygiene, essentially, right?
Yeah.
To be able to take this kind of a throw. If you throw a yellow belt or a green belt to someone relatively new who doesn't know how to take this break fall properly, you're gonna break their rib. Okay, you're also gonna knock the wind out of them. So don't do this on anyone much lighter than you. People who don't know how to take this fall properly. And even if they know how to take it properly, if you land on their ribs hard enough, you're gonna break the rib.
Yeah, you could have good break falls, but you have someone much bigger than you, just all their weight onto your ribs. You know?
Yeah.
Anybody can crack a rib.
Yes, for sure. So please be careful doing this technique. We covered right versus right, some different entries, and that's majority of the thing. It's less complicated because if you miss it, you're flat on your stomach. We covered one way to finish this technique when you're already chest to chest like this, and you try to put the hook in and take him over. And there's a couple more, but I don't think they're that effective. Soto Makikomi is generally a throw that you just go for. It's like a Hail Mary throw. You know, last second, I don't want to throw this guy. Go for it, rip it. You know, it's like a haymaker, essentially, right? So it's not too complicated. It's great for old people, older, heavier guys for sure, because you know, you just throw your body down to the floor and hope for the best. And I kind of speak up against hook judo. You know, just ripping it, hoping it goes well. But sometimes that's what you got to do. It's got to be a tool in your arsenal. Do I advocate just spamming this kind of judo? No, I don't. Like the holistic, overall, systemic judo and the different tactics involved in it. But having a good Soto Makikomi, like a ripping Soto Makikomi, I think it's a nice, little weapon in your pocket.
Would you say better technique to have kind of hold it back, like in your back pocket, and not like your main thing?
Yes, exactly. So maybe like actually try to play the positions, fighting here, moving, gaining here, adjusting, ochi, pull the head down, doing ochi, this kind of a thing. And then maybe say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna go for it. All right, Makikomi, Soto Makikomi. That's always a good one. And then if someone's always coming forward, just say posting on his chest. Your lefty, he's posting on his chest, coming forward. And then maybe you just go, boom, and then do a Soto Makikomi. These are the ways to kind of implement it in your game. If you can grip fight, even better. Just my 2 cents there. Let's take it.